So we got our boy here from Boston.
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 Can you say it like that yet?
No, he can't talk.
No, not really.
That's fucking lame.
Come on, man. Come on.
It's not really Boston either, but
Is it like, oh, like Surrey's not really Vancouver? Is it actually
it's
not
pretty
Bo-
different. Like they're
How far away
they're
is it?
physically separated by the river.
How far is
Yeah,
it?
so is Surrey and Vancouver.
Yeah, so is a lot of places.
It's a university town, pretty much. Boston
enough.
is not. Boston
Was
is
it
just
like-
a giant U.S. city?
Does it remind you at all of Ithaca when we went to Bryanston?
No, not like that.
Oh, okay.
The Ithaca is like a.
How far
single
away
campus.
is Boston from your place?
I mean,
If I was gonna drive.
like 2 minutes, one to 2 minutes.
What?
Yeah, then.
Boston?
Because I'm right on the river.
Oh.
Yeah, then it's the same fucking place.
You just gotta cross the bridge. You're there.
This is just
I
like
haven't
people
crossed
say
it.
that, people from, Delta aren't from Vancouver, that kind of stuff. Even if you're right on the border.
Dude, it's even worse. It's like saying if you're in Surrey,
Yeah, same thing.
you're not part of like Vancouver, whereas if
Yeah.
you're from Coquitlam, you are.
Yes, just because you're on the other
What?
side of the river.
It makes no sense. Listen, bro.
You're on the Fraser, wrong side of the Fraser.
You need to walk down that bridge and go to Boston more often. That's what I would say.
Then
Because you're already there. Like what if you got any free time, I would say go see the city, man.
How big is that bridge?
There's a bunch. There's a whole bunch of bridges. So the one close to me. How big? Like how many lanes?
No, how long? Like how long could you walk it?
It's probably like 400 meters,
Well, that's
300 meters.
short ass bridge.
That's enough, bro. That's a like
It depends. Yeah, the
little
one closest
hill.
to me,
Mm.
Boston University Bridge.
Well, that reminds me because when we went to New York, I crossed the Brooklyn Bridge. That was
Yeah.
long.
Yeah,
That's like a
it's-
30-minute walk one
yeah.
way.
No, it's not like that. Those
Well,
are huge.
How long does it take you guys? Have you guys ever crossed like Lionsgate?
I haven't walked it. No.
Okay,
No.
Lionsgate takes like 20 minutes. Ironworkers takes like 20 minutes.
Yeah. See, Brooklyn is about that.
And those
yeah.
are tall bridges. These are quite low to the water.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you
This-
could dive off of them. You'd be fine, I think. Yeah.
Don't take that advice, kids. Dr. Evil makes it sound like going to Boston is like you got to play Zelda or something. You got to go through some like maze and a couple of caves to like go there. I didn't know this guy's 2 minutes away from the fucking.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot
Boston.
farther away. Actually,
No,
I thought he
might
was
dive,
like- I thought he was like an hour away. I was like, okay,
I was
well,
gonna say
fair
like
enough.
half an hour drive.
So I basically live right between Harvard and MIT, in like a kind of a residential zone. But I don't go to either, and I don't go to Boston. So I just kind of live in this small,
Bubble.
like 2 kilometer radius. Yeah.
Can I call you my bubble boy?
Yeah, that came up before. I don't remember.
What? Someone say
Yes,
this?
somebody. Yeah.
Who said
the
this,
fuck?
bro?
I don't remember.
That's such an obscure reference.
What
to
kind of
Seinfeld.
friends do you have, bro?
Seinfeld friends, oh Jesus.
You guys ever hear of Exorcism?
Of course. Was
Okay.
that in Boston?
What do you mean?
The movie.
Oh yeah, those parts of it. I don't know.
Oh.
Have you guys heard of reverse exorcism?
No.
What the fuck is reverse exorcism?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's when the devil tells the priest to get out of the child's body.
Jesus.
What's that have to do with Boston? I don't know.
Nothing. I'm just fucking saying it, man.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Did you guys see Biden stuttering at another aneurysm?
No, I mean, he's got a lot of those videos, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say, why is this one newsworthy?
Well, it seems to be happening more often.
Dude, it's just gonna be some like bullshit, just like the Clinton thing. Like, oh, Clinton's dying. Remember when she was fainting? We saw this clip when she was getting helped into her van,
Yeah.
and then that was it. There was no more health scares. She was fine after that.
Do you guys think he's gonna
No.
finish the term
Yes.
and then second term or no?
How old is
No.
he? I don't know.
70.
81,
No, isn't that 81? Is it?
sir.
Isn't he the same
Please.
age as Trump?
No,
No,
he's
no,
a
Trump's
few years
younger.
older than Trump.
Like 2 years?
I think he might actually
'Cause-
be 81.
Cause,
He's 81.
I think they're saying, yeah, Trump might be 3, because I think people were saying that Trump in 2024, or whatever the next election would be, if he gets elected then, he'll be just as old as Biden
Mhm.
was when he was elected or something.
Yeah, so
So
Also, Trump is more coherent, man. His
Yep.
shit, you might not agree with what he's got to say, like
is he healthier though?
like Andrew fucking Tate, but again, he is coherent. Like he makes sense. He's not falling off bikes.
I
And
wouldn't
shit.
say that he makes sense.
And
but
if he doesn't know how to drive a bike or ride a bike, and he thinks that he's gonna fall off a bike, he might not even ride the bike, man. He's got that much common sense up top. Biden, bro, you tell this guy's gonna fucking stutter and fall off a cliff. Suddenly, he's just gonna explode one day. His body chemicals are just gonna be too old.
that sounds like it makes sense.
Dr. Evil, take it away. What do you think? Is it possible for Biden just to be too old and he explodes into his death?
you put like an age cap on public office?
Absolutely, man. I think 65 should be cap.
Cap? No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, bro.
No way.
You want to get 35 to 65.
No, disagree.
I don't know enough about even what the whole executive branch does, to be honest. It does seem like this person's too old to be working, though.
I think it's
that's about the only
subjective
thing I
though,
can say, yeah.
because it's like look at Putin. Putin's 70. He's fine for 70. Like I would say like he'd be the exception past 65.
Most people.
Guy does judo, man.
Most people in that position are fairly old, worldwide.
Yeah.
What about Zelensky?
Yeah, sure. But
Well,
I said
he's
most.
44, I think.
Yeah,
Well, a
he's-
lot of
he's an exception.
prime ministers in
He-
in EU are pretty fucking young too.
No. Who else?
How old is this?
Switzerland's
This
what,
lady-
what's
this lady
The
fucking
that
lady,
was
the Finland chick's pretty young.
No,
sure.
yeah, she's an exception. But the UK, the one that they just. put
Oh,
into
I don't know.
replace,
I don't know.
he's
Johnson.
50 something 60.
The lady.
No,
The
You're
lady
thinking
that
Bor-
she just
oh,
was
know.
announced. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's gonna be replacing him as PM.
The,
Can't remember
the
her
thing
name.
is that it's more newsworthy when a head of state gets elected and they're young. That's newsworthy. Like they'll put it in the headlines like, "Oh, 35-year-old whatever just got elected." Versus when they're old, it's assumed to be normal. That's why they're like, "Oh."
Trudeau's
Well,
pretty
let's say
young,
the
right?
name.
40s.
So like El Salvador's president's also pretty young. He's like, I think he was like 35 when he got elected.
You probably look it up. Average age head of
Yeah,
state,
you probably could. Yeah,
I would guess is
I'd say six.
Early-
bang on
early
s-
60s?
Yeah, I would say that actually.
sorry. Sorry.
The business line.
No, it's just an alarm. I don't know why I have it set.
It's the pacemaker alarm.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my pills. Fuck. Getting older.
Getting smarter.
Speaking of getting older, this guy's birthday's a few days from now.
That's right.
How do you feel?
It's all downhill from here, buddy.
That's
Been
par for the
saying
course.
that for the last 5 years.
very few people are under 50.
Yeah, see, that's.
Does it
kinda
give
what
an
I thought.
average, or like a median at least?
A median. Oh, look at this guy with his fucking science talks. Oh, look at me. I go to Boston for science. I'm a science guy.
56.
Fucking median.
56
Yeah,
is it average.
average.
Oh, that's
That's lower than I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
I guess.
that makes Biden quite the outlier.
I guess the amount of super young people balances out, right? Because if you took all away those outliers
Well, there's not that many actually, Hector.
of young people,
There's
of course there are.
it seems
I
to
can think
be
of 5 off the top of my head.
yeah,
Young
five in the world you're
off,
talking about?
off the top of my head. That's not even actually
Okay,
looking
but
at the
But
numbers.
young
right?
or old? What do you
Young,
think?
young.
Okay, but how young?
Like under 40 or like about 40.
Under 40, I can't think of many. Just a Finland girl and
Finland, there's a New Zealand,
Chile now.
Chile, El Salvador,
It seems like all the weak countries.
all the weak countries. Yeah. And then Zelensky.
Well,
all the
that's the point.
pussy
What
ass
about, like, the-
GDP countries that are just
when you think
trash
about-
GDP, they're young as fuck.
When you think about G8, so France, he's that
Macron.
he's in his 50s.
Pussy boy.
Well, actually, it's different now because this is a second term.
Yeah.
When he got
So he was
elected,
40s.
I think he was 40. He was definitely 40s, but I don't know later. Or
Johnson was
early.
in his 50s.
He's not young. Let's take him out of there.
Germany, that lady was in her 40s.
the new
when
one,
she
the new one,
started.
right? Merkel.
When she
Oh,
started.
when she started, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was in power for a long time.
Germany's weird though. The chancellor, what the fuck is that?
Is the meaning of age, like youth and old, changing as you guys age?
No. Oh, as we age.
Yeah. Like your
Person-
perspective of what is young,
Oh,
of what is
yeah,
old.
for sure, for sure.
But you'd have to,
I think that's natural though, right?
sure, but like at a certain point, you're kind of like already like we're not gonna get much more level-headed than what we are
Yes,
in the
we,
next
we should.
5 to 10 years. You know what I mean? So generally, our perspective shouldn't change that much. Like I think 15 to 20 is young. Generally, when I was 15 or 20, I thought 15 or 20 is still young. So that perspective hasn't really changed, right? Versus like, I've heard kids like, "Oh, I'm already 18, life's over," like some ridiculous shit like that.
That's what I mean. That's the tip. That's more normal. I don't want to say normal. That's more common. It's more common to think that as you age, your previous age is now starting to look a lot younger than when you were there. So when you were 15, as you start aging, you're gonna be like, "Wow, that was pretty immature," or whatever. When you look back at kids that age, you're like, "Oh wow," versus when you were that age, it didn't seem that bad.
It's interesting because
I think that's more common than
Sure.
your perspective.
Maybe.
That's more of like a thing that, you know, when you're 15 but you act like you're 20 kind of thing. People are like, "Oh, you seem pretty you act older than your age," kind of thing.
Right.
Whether it's you went through stuff early on in life or whatever, but that's more of I think anyways more of an exception thing than the commonality. I think it's more common to think
Do-
as you get older, you're like, oh wow.
Do you guys remember that Till versus fucking Woodley fight we watched at SFU?
Till versus Woodley at
Oh,
SFU.
no.
Yeah.
Did they fight back then? What
Yeah.
the fuck.
Yeah,
That was
so-
5 years ago.
So yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
So just to give you some perspective, Till is our age, so he's 29 now.
okay.
When we watched this, he was 25, and on record, we were kind of debating on who's gonna win. This was we already knew that Woodley won, but we were kind of talking about why Till lost.
Mm.
And I made a point that said that Till is 25 years old, so he's our age at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he's still a child, right? And you guys at that time, when you were 25, you guys were like, no way. Till is 25. That's an adult. Like, that's a full-blown adult. And I was making the point that, you know, when you're young and you don't have that man strength, there's a certain age category that you hit that, right?
Mm.
Like, I hit that, I think, about a year and a half ago, where, like, certain things I could do where I couldn't do before. Like, I was just working on my car. I just realized, like, okay, I could change, like, a coilover fairly easily. Whereas 3 years ago when I was doing coilovers, it was, like, insanely hard. I got to take it to the mechanic, right? So little stuff like that, the perspective is completely changed. I think certain things, like, I think weed makes your perspective change significantly, like, once you stop. But I think I've had pretty okay perspectives over the years, considering how much weed I smoked. Like, I would think it'd be much worse looking back. Like, it would be, like, ridiculous.
Mm.
But it's pretty close. You think your perspective changed? I think your perspective has changed a lot, Hector.
About what?
About everything. Like, anything
No,
from
I wouldn't say so.
from marriage to
No,
fucking...
it's like that contradicts what you said like a few months ago when we did that, and you're like, well, actually, well, not the last time we recorded, but one of the times that the three of us recorded and we actually did that, and we're like, when you look back, like that whole, you know, looking in the future, 5 years, your advice. Remember that whole conversation that we had?
Yeah,
And then
but
you even said on record,
in comparison to
Flat
us
TV
no,
is what
yeah,
I'm saying.
us to us,
Yeah.
like me to me 5 years ago.
But
you're
still,
like,
you to you is still a
you're
lot.
like, no, but you're like, you told me on record, you're
I
like,
know,
bro,
but listen to
what
what I'm
you
saying.
said was almost word for word the same.
Okay, but hold on.
So how would that make it different? Now I'm confused.
The words were, it was close. It was closer. Your ideologies were closer to what you're saying now, is what I said, right? But you to you, if you were going to go through all your ideologies, you'd be very different. And that's a good thing. You'd want to be very, very different.
See, that's why I'm just confused about what you're saying now. Because
Okay,
I'm
what
making
we
up-
were saying, okay, even me, right? It's all relative is what I'm saying. Even me, at a certain point in time, I've changed. I started moving in a different
Sure.
motion, okay? You generally had a more logical standpoint from the very beginning.
yes. Okay.
However, even though you did, the research that you've done over time and the life experience that you've gained, you still drastically changed if you compare yourself to yourself. But if you compare it to us, of course, no, you're very almost the same. I don't know if that makes sense.
Kind of. It makes more sense than the first time you mentioned it. And it makes me think a bit more. Yeah. I don't know how you would define drastically, but I don't think I'll disagree with the fact that I've definitely, mindset-wise, I've changed over certain things, whether it's
Just think about
work,
jiu-jitsu.
no, anything, yeah, work, lifestyle, relationships, sure. They're for sure. If I took a while to I just sat down, had a drink, smoked some weed, and just sat down and thought about it and rote it down.
Bro, just
I could
weed
probably-
too.
I could probably think about. That was more peer pressure.
No, but think
But
about
yeah, but
think
sure.
about like this. Like when I remember trying to convince you guys to smoke weed. Like crazy, like peer pressure like a motherfucker. When we're standing in the parking lot at SFU,
It's
I'm
different though.
like, yo, let's play. None of you
It's
want to
different
take
though,
part.
'cause it's
you
easier.
You took
It's-
a puff like this. You're like,
Yeah, but hold on.
you did that, and you were considered closer to me
Yeah,
than
yeah,
these guys.
I know, and
Okay,
that was,
hold
like,
on,
barely a puff.
hold on. Now you get so high sometimes. You're like, yo, it didn't even hit me this week. That's a difference.
But what I mean
bro.
is that one. I think I'll attribute that more to peer pressure because when the three guys who don't want to do it, it's easy. They'll be like, "All right, we'll stand our ground. We're not going to do it." But when it's just me and you recording, like, who am I looking to help me there? It's like I got me and the dog, and the dog's on your side. Senor's like, "Yo, you should smoke." And I'm like, "All right, I guess I am."
Senor is not that much of a pussy. Senor is like, smoke that shit, bitch.
So,
Smoke that
so you
shit.
know what I mean. So that one makes sense.
Yeah, Senor's like, get out of here with your wide eyes and shit, making logical points.
That edible from the other week. Oh Jesus!
That was insane,
Do
huh?
you watch that shit back?
This guy was absolutely
God.
retarded at a certain
Oh my
point.
god!
He popped like, I would say, a quarter of an edible.
Yeah, and it was like
Okay.
a 50 gram. I
What's
think
in an edible?
it's THC.
Well,
Oh, okay.
yeah, THC, different cannabinoids, but basically just THC. And it was, I have them right here.
Triangles. Let's see. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
They're 50 milligrams for the whole thing. So this guy had 1/4 of 50 milligrams. So
I,
he
s-
had
I s- I
like
say closer to a third, but it's probably closer.
he
to
had
a
like
fourth.
13 milligrams.
Yeah.
Okay, we wait like an hour. Suddenly starts hitting it.
And it's funny
He's
because
making
you can
points.
see the progression. Because as we're talking, we're talking about something that probably took like half an hour, and throughout the course of that half an hour, from when it started to hit me till like the end, you can just see like the gradual like absolute retardation start to hit. Where it eventually, like at one point, I remember saying like, "Bro, we're gonna look back on this, and this is like bad." This
Well,
is
I
bad.
remember, I was looking back on it, and what was funny that was when you were making points, you tend to use or emphasize using your eyebrows a lot. The moment that you really recognize that the weed hits is when you drop your eyebrows, and you're kind of like dazed, and you're trying to understand what we're trying to like talk about, but you still don't know how to. You still don't understand. So I'm trying to like tell this guy math. Right? It's like
To be
super
fair,
simple.
your math was bad too.
No,
You
it
fucked
was,
up. You
it
fucked
was, it was. But you also have to understand, I'm not sober at that point either. I'm 8
No, I know,
joints deep.
bro. At one point, I have my phone out, and we're having a conversation, and you can still clearly see me trying to like do the same math,
Yeah.
and it was like addition. It wasn't even multiplication. It was like 80 million. We were trying to calculate. It was amount of married couples in the world, and
Oh
then
my God.
what percentage of that was that of the world?
Okay,
And
hold on. That's
was
a good
so bad.
question. Dr. Evil, what percentage of the world do you think is married?
yeah, that's a good one actually.
High 30s?
Okay, wait. Let's
Yeah.
let's clarify the question. This might change your answer. When we say total percentage, we mean like of living people.
Yeah.
So not eligible people, right? Because it's like, you're not gonna have like a 5-year-old getting married.
No, I understand.
Okay.
So let's say there's whatever 7 billion people.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 2 to 3 billion. Why am I
Seven-
way off?
7%.
7?
Mm-hmm. 7.5.
Wow,
I
I'm
think
way
it was.
off. Yeah.
7.5,
Yeah,
I think.
it was 7.8%.
Yeah.
7.8% of
The world.
the entire population
Yes.
is married.
Entire population.
It's like
is married.
169 million, I think, is what it was.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
Which is it shows because
Yeah. Okay.
This
I guess I'm way
was-
off.
Oh, what he fucked up. Actually, he had the decimal point off by 1.
just
So,
by one.
so he was like, "Yo, it's 0.75," and I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
yeah. That was weird. But
Like
even
one in
even
100
even,
almost.
Off by a factor of 10. Yeah.
even 7.8 or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it is, that's still super low.
It's low. Yeah.
Super
it's lower
low.
than I would have thought, but
Anybody under 18 for most of the world's not married.
yeah.
But still, I mean,
I would disagree.
most of the
I
population
think most
is
of-
above 18 years old. So
If you go to the Middle East, most girls.
Actually, you
are
can look.
married at 18.
Yeah, but the girls, but not the guys. So that's only 50% of eligibles. You're not gonna have a 15-year-old married guy.
7% then?
Sure, but guys want to get okay
Girls will get married below 18, but guys generally will not.
during. Yes, they will.
No,
during,
they won't.
Of course they do.
Bet
Bet
anything.
I
you
grew
want.
up in the country. How are you gonna
Great.
bet me?
Bet.
Bet what?
Some
Do you
Gr-
think?
girls.
Do you think Iran has
Fifty.
stats?
Probably.
Do you think
not.
Middle East has? Do you think Kazakhstan
All
is
right,
showing
fine.
out
Let's
stats?
just no longer ever look at stats. So fuck. Let's just go off anecdotal evidence now.
No,
Let's
no, no.
just
But hold on.
Go off the Agbashlu word over here.
I don't think Iran has legitimate stats.
No, but
just like
he
China
said
during
most of the
COVID.
world. What? Iran's most of the world now? Like we can
No,
beat
no, no.
China.
I'm just talking about like middle. I don't know what. This is the thing. I don't want to say I know what's happening in South America. I don't know. Maybe they're getting married at 20. But what I'm saying is, even today, like the other week was my cousin's birthday.
Mm.
I mean, my cousin's wedding, right? And what's hilarious is she's still in grade 11, going to grade 12.
Yeah.
She's getting married to like a 35-year-old.
So there you go. So the guys. Okay.
Hold on. Most of my uncles were married before they were 20.
See, I find that very. I think that's outside the norm. I think definitely this whole idea of American, get married. That's new. That's new these days.
Are you guys sure about the 7.5% thing?
Yeah, just look up amount of married people in the world. Just do that, because a lot of the numbers you're gonna look up is like of eligible. You gotta look up like Just look up amount of married people in the world. Look up that number.
You trying to hit this?
A little bit, not too crazy.
What do you mean? That's yours.
Oh, and then what are you pointing at then?
I mean, grab it. You fucking.
Well, it's already here. So what am I grabbing, bro?
Do you realize I have 2 computers now here?
Well, yeah, one's for the work, one's for the plug.
I'm gonna keep this.
No, you're not.
Oh,
Oh man, I forgot to bring it again.
What?
Remember that thing I bought for Armand? when we
Oh
went to
yeah,
New York?
Pichko Michael. This
How many
fucking guy.
trips is it gonna take?
Fucking idiot. Just mail it at this point. They don't. You have like free shipping, man. Just call it a.
yeah, you bastard.
Yeah, seriously, this guy's got free shipping. Won't ship it.
Fuck
Free
this
shipping,
guy.
man.
Dude, I remember we used to go out at grade 12. We used to go out for dinner every day. I remember we went to me and this guy. We went to we're in grade 12. We went to Ricky's All Day Grill.
Oh yeah.
during,
Oh buddy.
During lunchtime.
Oh buddy.
Dr. Evil, you remember this?
Not really, no.
Oh
Ricky's?
man, I fucked up spending this money on this guy. Should have been Hector, bro. Should've been Hector.
I'd remember. Be like, yeah,
at least
bro.
this
I
guy
remember.
remembered.
Yeah. That's fucking hilarious. No.
I went to All Day Grill. I got some like. I remember because I asked if they had beers and they didn't even ask me for ID.
Mm.
It was interesting because I looked pretty young. like-
Ricky's is that kind of place, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Barb will attend you. She's like, all right, what you want? Like, oh, yeah, I'll take the steak. Medium rare or go fuck myself. What's up with this? Fuck. It's weird. It's like hanging on by like a thread.
Dr. Evil, do you have any introspective
Questions?
questions?
Yeah,
or
I think that 7.5 figure's way off.
I don't think it is.
For example, in the U.S., it says in 2019 there were 62 million married couples in the U.S. So 62 million out of what's the population?
Married couples?
300.
That also
300
doesn't.
million?
Actually, that kind of makes sense. Married couples. Just look up. There's a world stat. Look it up. Total.
No, you would think so. That's what I'm trying to
That's
check.
what. Well, what did you pull up then?
I pulled up some shit out of my ass, bro.
Yeah, I feel like that was not.
No, it wasn't
It's definitely
Hector.
more
It
than
was
7.
Hector. The stats were there.
No,
We
I
read
know.
'em.
I saw it. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
pull it up again. I'm like, what did you pull up? Oh fuck, bro. I'm sorry. I fucked up the filter here.
Oh fuck you, man. This guy.
Oh wait, I fixed it.
There's a lot of married people out there.
Are you trying to get married or no?
Yo, what
No,
about
no,
Korea,
who
bro?
knows?
You want to go to Korea?
Don't think about it.
Listen,
They'll pay you to have a baby.
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna say this the last time I'm gonna say it, okay?
What?
I'm not into these. I'm not sold on marriage at all, especially in Canada. I feel like it's probably not in your best interest to get married, especially with somebody that you don't know less than like 5 to 7 years.
Mm.
That being said, we're at an age where, you know, if we want to have kids, you kind of want to be in your kid's life. So if you do just quick math off the top of your head, you realize that, like, okay, if you get to know a girl for 5 to 7 years, you're going to be 36, 37 years old. She's going to be in her 30s. You're going to have a kid, and you're going to be 37. Your mom's going to be 70-something years old. How are you going to raise this kid, right? But then you also look at it like this.
What's wrong with that?
Because you're going to be
that filter.
you're gonna live the life of a Joey Diaz type character where you're gonna be 55 years old and your kid's gonna be 5.
No,
Yeah, that's-
you just said 37. The kid's born.
That's best case. That's if I go outside, find a girl today.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, based off that like know him for 5-7 years stat, right? 29, 30 plus 5, 7.
Sure.
You got to give yourself some like error time of like dating somebody, finding out that they're gonna take booty pictures on
By
Instagram.
the time you're 50,
And you're gonna
55,
turn
you're
into a
18.
cock, right?
Yeah.
And she's gonna go into some like beauty pageant shit at like 30 years old and just show anus pictures on Instagram, asking for votes, right? These are possibilities that you might come across. So it's like best case scenario 37, right? That's for me timeline wise. That'd actually be premium 37. But if I had to take a look, like, there's been lots of points in my life where when I was a child, I thought my parents were really old for my age.
Mm.
And it almost made me secluded towards them as far as like a involvement from them in the education community that I was in, whether it was schools, friends, whatever. My mom had me when she was 34.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
by
late,
my
man.
math,
about mine, I was pretty
by
close,
my
pretty
math,
close.
right?
Same.
If I have that feeling, my kid is gonna also have that feeling, but multiplied, because I'm older.
Mm.
Therefore, you don't really have much more than 5 to 7 years to have a kid. It's pretty much
You feel pressured to have a kid now?
no. It's not that you feel pressure to have a kid. You have these ideologies from how you're raised, whether biased or not.
Mm.
If you put them into actual practical timeline, you realize that you don't have that much time. If you were going to follow these things that you had in your mind when you were like, let's say 20 years old.
Mm. Oh, some people have kids
Fuck
when
this.
they're 20 years old.
Well, I think actually that's bad. I think you stop your growth when you have a kid. You have to be in a place of practicality, and like
Thing is, like, we don't need everybody to grow. Think about it.
you also don't need everybody to have kids.
But we do need kids.
Not those kids. Bro, I could even argue like I shouldn't have been born, let alone someone dumber than me. And I can point like at 100 people from our graduating class that were dumber than me.
Mm.
And that's saying a lot because I'm not that smart.
You know what's crazy is that Korea probably feels the same way. Well, actually, that's for totally different reasons. I
Who
saw
does?
Korea. I saw the
Oh, the country.
They have a decreased population.
yeah,
crazy
and,
amount.
And what they did was like they projected it out a bit too far, in my opinion, because they went so far that it's like things will probably change in the next like 30 years. But
I wouldn't be so fast.
dude,
to say
they projected to 2,100. You don't think that anything's gonna change between now and then? That's 80 years. Of course, stuff will change, but
What do they
they
predict?
they have to project off of what's current. So fair enough. Off the current last 10 years data, if it keeps trending the way it does,
Yeah.
they will have less total population by 2100 than they did before the war.
What's that population?
Like 40, like 20 million or something. And they're at
What do they have now?
No,
40.
it's like
40.
they're at like 47. They're gonna have like 20 something.
Okay.
The problem is like your GDP, everything,
that's a huge problem.
everything goes down, right?
Mhm.
And even Elon was saying, what the biggest problem right now isn't actually like, global warming or anything like that or war.
Or yeah, a lot population.
It was
decline.
population decline, and it's because if a country is not growing in population, it's gonna downsize everything: trades,
There it
GDP,
is.
power. So the whole
That's no.
infrastructure of the economy is going to go down. Like if you imagine house prices, if Canada dropped their population by 50%, house prices would be fucking cheap. However, you wouldn't have the same opportunities, you wouldn't have the same anything.
Everything gets affected.
Everything gets affected in a bad way.
Yeah, I don't know if what he's saying makes sense there though.
So do you disagree with the fact that a declining population is bad for a
I
country?
don't understand where the confidence comes from when they compare that with other sort of world stage problems. That's number one.
Oh
'Cause they
no,
say
yeah, okay,
explicitly
that's his
that
personal.
That's number one.
That's his personal opinion. Let's disregard that, but just the idea of it being an issue of declining population.
Yeah, probably it's an issue, but they do specifically say that that's worse than, for example, like a nuclear war.
Who's
risk
they?
or
Just people.
well,
in
I
general?
know Musk specifically says
Yeah,
that.
he has, but he's whatever. Fuck what he says too. Guy's got like 10 different kids, but 4 different women.
But
Well,
that's
he's doing-
why.
doing his
that's,
part.
This guy's like Nick
he's-
Cannon.
But that's why though. He's doing his part,
Yeah, he is.
you know?
I don't know if that's why, but yeah.
But
he's certainly
listen,
doing
if
his
you
part.
had whatever he has, 80 billion,
Mm.
whatever the fuck
A
net,
lot
net
more
value,
than that, but yeah, sure.
whatever. When you get to a billion stage, it doesn't really matter.
He's at
1
like,
billion
it's like,
to
he's like 230. It's
okay, well, whatever.
pretty fucked.
What I'm saying is like, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna invent all this shit? Okay, cool.
You'd be surprised.
You're
There's
gonna
people,
pop out a couple babies too?
There's people that age they will never marry or have kids. Sorry, at that level of wealth, which is really strange.
That's not only strange, but it's scary.
Like Buffett. Buffett has like not that many kids.
Well, he has kids though.
He has kids though.
There's a local. We got a local.
Find somebody who's like that has no kids.
Not like that level, but
Even remotely close to that.
regionally speaking, one of the richest guys in the Lower Mainland, not married or ever had kids.
Patterson?
His name's Fred Kaiser.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
but Kaiser wasn't there a couple of news stories like 5 years ago? He has like a couple of alleged kids.
I don't think so.
Was that the
He does-
alpha guy?
Alpha guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't really come up in the news much. He's
I
not.
remember reading about Kaiser.
Well, yeah, his name's on the
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
UBC building. Yeah.
yeah.
No kids, no nothing.
No kids, never married. He's got a partner, and they've been together for a while. But
Guy?
No, like a woman,
Oh.
but they've just never married and they've
I was
never
just
had
adding
kids.
2 and 2 together there.
No, because that's what he calls her. He calls her his partner.
That shit pisses me
Me
off.
too.
Yo,
Me
listen.
too.
Yo, listen, man.
No hesitation.
I have a problem with that because just
It's weird.
fucking say what it
just
is.
weird. It's
what if
weird.
it's a tree?
you
You know what
so strange.
Because that's not even that strange these
Yeah.
times, right? In these times, in 2022, if somebody came up to me at the office and was like, "Hey, listen, next week I'm having a wedding, and this Thursday we're going out for a bachelor party. Me and my partner, it's like an olive tree. we're getting hitched on Sunday. I wouldn't be super surprised. Like I would be like,
You'd be kind of
that's
surprised.
I would text everybody.
Yeah, of course you would.
But after that, I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Did you guys hear about that True Geordie guy?
True Jordan. I know him, the YouTube guy, right?
Yeah. So have you looked into like what? Because the only reason I saw this is because this whole Andrew Tate shit is
Sure,
fucking
sure.
hilarious. I get baked and just watch these guys for 10 minutes.
Oh
at a
no,
time.
okay, I didn't. Was there in the news? What happened?
Anyway, this guy is DM'd. Like he comes off as this guy. He was like a marine welder, right? In the UK, and he's 6'4", like 3.
Yeah, he's a
something.
big
He's
dude.
a big guy.
I've seen him. Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, there was like he was talking to some girl like about I don't know a few months ago, and he was kind of drunk and she was kind of fucked up, and they were talking about like she was a OnlyFans chick. She was
Mm.
like a dominatrix, and this guy, based on his appearance, you would never guess, but he was talking about like sucking
He was
dildos
a
and
sub.
shit.
Oh, he was a sub.
Super fucking
He's a sub.
suspect shit. And then I watched him on Andrew Schultz like recently,
Yeah.
and he was trying to like kind of like cool that shit off, and he
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"I was just drunk." I'm like, "Yo, listen, bro, I've been drunk too. I've never said I want a dick up my ass because I'm fucking drunk. Like, it doesn't make sense, man. That's not drunk. You're gay.
Yeah,
it's
true.
okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I guess you would say that when you're sober.
so I think now it's like, what's more strange in 2022? It's anybody who's semi-famous, kind of contemplating in public whether they're gay or not. That's more strange than the shit he was saying, because now he's kind of like, he could come out as gay. It'd probably be in his benefit
Mm.
as far as like marketing, publication. Like think
Sure.
about that whole Little Nas X thing.
Mm.
That guy literally did an album and said he was gay, and that was a promotion for the next album.
100%.
Like that was legitimate promotion. Like you don't need to tell me I'm gay.
Mm.
Like I don't. Why do I care?
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's my problem with public schools. I'm gonna bring this up. This is my fucking
Tied in.
problem with public schools. Okay?
This is Armand's like thought process when he wakes up in the morning. It's like
No.
thought
Today,
to thought to thought, and it's like
this is the thing.
fucking
Today was
connections-
one of those days where I was so busy I didn't even have time to smoke weed today. This was my first joint.
Damn, bro, that's some heavy shit there.
So
You're actually productive.
today I was very productive. But yeah, so this goes back to public school. So Dr. Evil and Hector, imagine you have kids. I'm gonna paint you a scenario.
All right, pay me some.
You got a couple kids, right? And these kids are going to public school,
Mm.
and because now there's this whole notion of fighting for kids,
Mm.
or sorry, not fighting for kids, but fighting for a better kind of salary for teachers because everybody's saying they're underpaid, undercut. Okay, and with that goes a lot of privileges, such as they can kind of say their sexes, they talk about that shit, like it's kind of like open, right? Like we didn't have that when we were coming up, but now I guess teachers have like this whole notion where they're open with their sexuality in
Oh, sure. Yeah,
around
okay,
the
okay,
kids.
Okay.
Now my problem is this, like this might not be an issue if your kid's like grade 8, grade 7, and older, but like I don't need to tell my 6-year-old kid why Mrs. fucking whatever Doubtfire is taking dildos in her ass. Like this doesn't need to be covered when they're
Hold on
8
a
years
sec.
old.
That's okay. I don't know
But
if
this is the thing.
Yeah,
It's
but-
not going to be that. It's not going to be hey kids. So guess what? I got a 14-inch dildo.
Yeah. That's
That's
what I mean, like,
not-
you
that's not what I'm
I
saying.
feel like to be funny, you made an example that maybe you weren't actually being serious about.
This is the issue. So they will announce their sexuality.
Yes, okay,
I
fine.
am this.
Sure.
My kid won't know about it. Let's say.
Mhm.
And then my kid's gonna come up to me and ask,
Mhm.
and that's gonna be a fucking rabbit hole of itself because now I got to go into depth of why and how
I don't
and
thi-
things I have
don't
to.
think you do, but okay.
But listen, how do you describe? Like, let's say, okay, this is even a better question. Kid comes up to you, Dad, what's gay? I found out my teacher
How old's the
said
kid though?
7.
And it matters.
7.
7. And you just explain what homosexual is, and you're like,
What is sex?
no, well, that's what I said. That's
Why
what
do
matters.
they need to know?
Okay,
At 7?
I wouldn't say homosexual then, but it's like you don't. It depends what age they are, because if they're not at the age where I'm going to explain certain details about a heterosexual relationship, I'm not going to do the same thing for a homosexual relationship. So if I'm not going to talk about sex with the kid, depending on how old they are, for straight people, I'm not going to explain it for gay people. That makes no sense. You have to be equal about it. So if they're at the age where, yes, the sex talk has already happened, then sure, now you're going to have to fucking...
When do you get that, though?
It
Are we
depends.
supposed to get that in high
depends.
school? Like,
Yeah,
with,
I did.
planning?
I did
We
get
got
it.
in grade 8.
I got it
Was
in
it grade
grade 7 as well.
7,
we
8.
missed ours. They missed it because of, remember Hardy?
I think they missed... Oh, yeah.
You know why they missed it? Because
it-
they didn't think you're going to get laid. So
Yeah, I
they
was
didn't
gonna
need to
say,
know.
Good one.
Yeah,
You didn't need
good,
to know.
good call, too. Yeah.
This
No,
guy's
Hardy's
not
a
going to
family member. Remember, he got killed in a car accident, and then he disappeared, and we got a sub, and then we just never talked about any
that
of
makes
that
sense.
stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah. But going back to that, I would just match it. So whatever kind of explanation I would give for a hetero relationship, I would do the same thing for a gay relationship.
What I'm saying is, Lo, because hetero is so normalized over decades, it's not even something that comes up.
Of course it is. You still have to explain sex at one point.
At one point, well, what I'm saying is like, okay,
And before that point, a child's knowledge is so innocent, it doesn't really matter.
When
Like,
do you, I don't even remember learning about it, to be honest.
during what? Sex?
Yeah.
you just said you
Wait,
never.
Wait, hold on. Do we
Oh,
have
but
to,
at some
wait,
point,
wait.
yeah, okay.
Wait. Do we have to have the sex talk with you,
Yeah, okay.
Dr. Evil? Is that what we need to do?
When
Do you
a
remember
man
actually-
When a
and
man-
a woman
love each other. Very
When
much.
a man and a man love each other.
Very
And
much.
Now it's like when a man and a table love each other. It's fucking.
Okay, so you
anything.
don't remember it. I mean, I guess just.
I don't remember at what point I
Probably
knew what sex was.
Oh, that's a different
That's what I'm
question.
getting
He was
at.
paying. He was paying attention to drop shipping.
I knew it. I knew it early on just because I used to. My parents didn't like movies. Like I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I didn't
thinking
get.
too.
They
It
didn't
comes up in
not
film,
watch.
you know?
Yeah, they did not
Yeah.
let me watch it. Like same thing in Europe, for example. That is a lot more mainstream. Like you'll see, like X-rated films on like public TV.
Even like,
But you
it's
won't see that
innocent
here.
stuff. You'll watch Friends in the '90s, and like they imply that they're doing something in the
Yeah,
bedroom
actually, I
behind
remember-
closed doors.
I remember I got that from Seinfeld because my parents would watch a lot of reruns of Seinfeld.
Yeah, there's no actual
And-
sex, but like.
No, they would even say like sex,
Yeah.
right? And then I'd have to figure that out, and then I would, and then that's how I knew.
I don't remember how it.
So I remember being like
Saw it.
6 in Azerbaijan, and we back then everybody was broke. Like the whole economy of Azerbaijan back then was like ridiculous in the late 90s and early 2000s, and we just got this kind of antenna thing, right? My dad literally stole it from somebody else.
Oh yeah, sure. To watch cable?
to watch
Yeah,
cable.
yeah. Jesus.
So it's like it's Sunday, and we're all sitting down. We got this fucking antenna. It literally looks like one of those clothing fucking hooks.
Yeah.
That's what it fucking looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
So my dad's there. He's fucking fixing this shit, and we're all sitting there with like fruits and shit. This was like back then to us. This was like a happy time. It was kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
going
yeah.
on a picnic for some people. So he's fixing it up, and we're seeing an image. And we're like,
Oh, shit.
yeah, that's right. Go that way. And then suddenly the image pops, and it's this blonde chick getting her hair pulled, just getting fucking railed,
Jesus.
and her
dude.
titties just popping. And the
Oh my-
only thing my mom can do, and you have to understand what position my mom was. She's got her legs crossed, and she's got a plate on her leg, and she's cutting the apple to like give it to us,
Yeah.
right? She drops everything. The fucking knife literally cuts her toe.
Jesus.
Okay, as she's trying to like cover her face. And my dad is such a dude. This is how I know this guy is gonna live to be like 97 years old. Because when he was like 40 something then.
Yeah.
He couldn't physically stop looking at it and like change. Like in his head, he's like, it's more important that I get this little fuel capsule in my head for later than for me to like change this antenna so my kids don't watch. So shit like that was like pretty common, man. You would like it. There was like escorts on the street back then,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, but
with their
you wouldn't-
titties out.
You wouldn't know what an escort does
Well, I mean, you know,
as a child
you
until
know that
you get
she
educated.
Sure, you know that she's a bad woman
Yes.
Because when you walk there with your mom and
Yes.
that escort flashes you,
That you walk
you're
to-
like, Mom, what the hell?
And
Why
your
am I
mom's
seeing
like,
titties?
well,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, she's a bad woman.
yeah.
You know where you learn about it? Other kids and insults. Because they'll say like, suck my dick or something like that, and you wonder
Which
put two and
kid?
two
Which
together.
kid says suck my dick?
Day at kindergarten. Suck my dick.
Not at school.
And that's a
not at school.
clap right there.
Oh, my, yeah. Big clap
This
right
is
there.
just in the neighborhood, especially when you hang out with older
That's even
kids.
worse. Oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Older
actually-
kids I could see, but like, when we were 5 or 6,
No,
you know,
you're playing.
This is where, like-
street hockey, and there's like a 12-year-old there, and you're 6. You hear, when-
yo, suck my dick, kid.
yeah,
Just little Joey
same
Diaz.
shit that you guys say now.
fucking white kids.
You hear those kinds of insults back
Same
then.
shit. I mean, yeah, but I'm 29.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I can see what you're saying, especially like
Hector's man of God, bro.
your brother, like your brothers, your friends, older brothers, stuff like that, cousins. Yeah, no, that's definitely true because you'll overhear stuff and then you're like, I wonder what that is.
yeah.
Hector
I remember
didn't
learning
cuss
about
till
cocaine
2015.
actually.
You
When I
what?
was like 6 or 7. I remember learning about cocaine.
Like freebase cocaine or like
No, they just explained to
the
us
good stuff or the
Yeah.
bad
No.
stuff?
powder.
What'd
get-
you learn? Let me educate
the
you.
powder?
They told us
or-
it could kill you. That's why it kind of
Yeah,
was
right.
branded
I mean, it
into my
could, but
memory.
you'd have to be like retarded.
Yeah, but
You're 6.
you
bro.
don't realize there's a powder that can kill you. When you're 6 years old, they tell you not to touch it.
The thing is, Arvon came street ready out of the womb. That's why.
yeah,
This is the thing. Back home, I have a few family members that overdosed on something called Teriac, which is an opiate, right? And you smoke this stuff, and you basically you die because you go hyperglycemic and you basically poison yourself. You overdose on it.
Right.
And a few family members died, and I remember like being 3 or 4 and asking like my father like, who died?
Mm-mm.
And like this person, and I was like, why? And my dad's a savage. He doesn't give a fuck. There's no like parental guidance with this guy.
Mhm.
It's just like straight up. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he did drugs because he's an addict, and he died because his body couldn't handle it. That's like the shit 3-4 years old, right? It was pretty common sense. And then
Mhm.
also like there's another avenue of shit. Like my dad owed a lot of people a lot of money because his business sense was terrible. So he bought like a lot of these cat equipment and couldn't get rid of it, and there was cops after him because people did like civil suits.
Mhm.
So being like 5-6 years old in Iran, that's one of the reasons we had to leave, right? Because this guy was like back then like $1 million in debt.
Mm.
So it was cops calling us on the phone, and it was like common knowledge in our household that like if they ask for my dad, say he's not here,
That's
Mm.
like some mafia shit.
right?
That's
So
what they
like
would do in mafia
being
households.
that age, it was kind of like I wish it was mafia stuff because mafia stuff's
Yeah.
cooler. That
Yeah.
stuff is like your dad's just retarded, and your mom is like naive as fuck, but she's smart as fuck. Like
Mm.
my mom's a doctor with 2 clinics.
Mm-hmm.
She's just naive as shit. Like I told my mom the other day, I was like, the best thing I can do is find a Korean girl that was as naive as you when you were like 25, 26 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah.
Because then I'm made. Because if my dad can fool you, I guarantee you I can fool this chick. Guarantee you. Some pipe dream, it's over, son. Give me that white check, blank check.
Well,
baby.
yeah, like I said, going back to the original point, man, go to Korea, man, get paid.
Listen,
get paid.
I think if I'm gonna get married, it's gonna be with a Korean at this point in my life.
You got to do it in Korea, though, man.
I don't even think okay, white chicks are just no way. There's no chance. I don't think there's ever gonna be a chance where I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is a good idea.
Mm-mm.
Let me just go and marry little Becky or Elizabeth or some shit.
I don't see it either.
Or Spanish chicks, it seems like there's not enough of them, so it's like not enough exposure to them,
Mm.
right? You know what I mean?
You
There's,
have to go down to Miami for a few months.
I mean, but that's a bad idea because Miami chicks are like Hollywood
Yeah,
girls.
you don't
They're
want
like
those.
LA
Those are
chicks.
not
You don't
the
want
ones you
those
want.
girls.
No, it's true. It's not
They're
the ones you
already fucking dazzled. Up
You don't
top.
want LA. You don't want Miami.
No, man. If a
Gotta
girl
go to,
comes
like-
up to you and says you got to pay my rent to fuck with me, it's like get
No.
out of here.
You're gonna need something like Arizona or like actually even that's the risk.
Those people are the same.
Texas maybe.
There's 2 types of people in places like that. There's the fresh and fit type or the Andrew Tate type, and then there's the girls that expose those guys, and then there's like the better version of Andrew Tate and the better version of those girls. That's literally it. There's 4 types of people down there.
It's a rough outlook.
What type are you? Are you the hopeless romantic type, Hector?
Fucking back to this shit again. Full circle, homie.
Full circle with that fucking stash.
Full circle with that circle jerk. More that than the other one for sure, but I'm not all the way there because I've been exposed to too much on the other end.
You've been heartbroken.
Well, of course, there's that, but there's also like the other stuff, just like just general cynicism, cynicism, and being jaded and all that shit. Not obviously like to that level. These fucking guys where all they're doing is just like shitting on women,
Yeah.
but
yeah, that gets exhausting.
yeah,
too,
it's just a
man.
That
bit-
gets exhausting.
It's too much. But obviously, yeah, not some naive.
I
Like,
think-
oh my god, love is.
I don't think
everywhere.
those guys are naturally like that though. I think that they're trying to sell something too.
Oh, they're definitely
Yeah,
right?
same.
That's not.
The moment they offer you something, you're like, okay, you're obviously something.
That's not. That's not real energy like that. That's not like real shit.
Yeah.
Real energy would be like you just kind of like live life without the fact that there's a woman there. Like, you know what I mean? You just don't even consider that option.
Yeah, I guess.
But if you had to number us off from like the most cynical and like the most fucking like that mentality versus like the most hopelessly romantic from us, like Dr. Evil, Emil, Sunny, Yumi.
Oh, okay, we're making a beer because I'm like, if it's here, it's
From
pretty
least to
I'm like,
most.
this is an easiest, least hopeless,
Least cynical.
least cynical, probably me, and then I think,
Hold on. You less than Emil?
yeah, I think so.
No way.
I think so.
Dr. Evil, what do you think of this?
I think so.
No, I think I agree with him.
I think
Yeah.
so. But then, yeah, then either Emil or Sunny. That's doesn't matter where it's like 2 or 3.
Yeah, they don't count.
No, but I mean like it's so close.
They're
Either or.
background actors anyway.
Either or. And then you guys are almost a toss up too at that point. Like I don't really know between you two who would be like the most, or like I think it depends on the week.
Who's the most jaded?
Depends on the week and the month. You know what I mean? So I'd basically like I'd
Cut
group
that shit
it.
out.
I'd group it. I'd be like me, then Emil and Sunny, and then you two.
Who's the most cynical person you know in that sense?
In that sense.
In that sense.
Well, like I said, depends on the week. Could be a
no,
toss
no, no,
up.
no, no, from everybody, not just
I'm
us.
not. Did I stutter?
Oh, okay. So it's us.
Motherfucker, did I stutter?
Damn. Because Hector actually has a big group of friends, like very, very
But diverse.
I wouldn't
Diverse.
even say big. I would say like diverse.
That's
exactly.
what, yeah, I would agree.
Which is interesting because like sometimes he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be late to the pod." It's like, "Where you going?" "I'm going to this some birthday party," and I'd be like, "Whose birthday party?" And it's like some background actor, like,
what?
not a main character in any sense of the word.
The who?
Doctor, what do you think?
So that means we're the most cynical people, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't. But between me and Doctor,
You
I
know,
would
you know
say
why?
It's not even.
This is
close.
weird. Actually, it's not even that weird. You guys probably agree. I don't generally keep those people around.
What kind of people?
Oh,
Cynical.
cynics?
Yeah, cynics. Like, there's a limit to how much I can have of that in my life, and you guys
Oh.
have basically hit it for me. Like any more, and I'd be like, "Yo, it's full. I already got these guys. I don't need more of you people.
You need cheerful people, huh?
I need more of that than the other,
Hmm.
for sure."
There's a difference between like
But hold on, let's be clear. I don't want this to get twisted. I don't think you guys are cynical in every sense, like in life.
No, no, no.
Like when I call this guy, it's not like everything that comes out of his mouth is some fucking that's not what I'm
like,
not saying.
You don't call me, and I'm not the person who says, "Oh, I can't get out of bed." I'm
Yeah, no.
depressed."
I'm not saying cynical about life. I'm just saying
I don't think any of us are cynical about life. I think
No,
we're
no,
just
There's people like that. you
there
know?
are.
No,
there
no,
are, but
we're not
but-
saying that.
No,
We're
I just want to
just-
clarify the question. His question
Yeah.
was specifically about like relationships, for example.
Yeah,
and that's
we're-
what I'm being. I just want that to be
I would
very
say
clear.
I would say relationships and like pretty much our our ideas on life, man. Like if I mean you probably already like you definitely know, but like dude, me and this guy we're like we're trying to do some like fucked up shit at one point. Like not even that it's not that fucked up. It's not it's been done before, but what I'm saying is like
This one that I was getting roped into at one point.
it was like
Was
it
it that
was
one?
it was a ton of those
Oh,
ideas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
road
sure.
It was a
go
ton
down.
of
Sure,
those
yeah, yeah.
ideas, right?
Okay, we keep
And-
it ambiguous enough to be interesting,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not too much to incriminate ourselves.
But yeah, so I mean, like me, like I kind of took part of that. But you know, Dr. Evil, at one point in time, he was begging to take part of this stuff like that, and I was like, bro, like this is, like think twice, bro. like I'm in it, but I want to get out. Like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's kind of like seeing guys from Mexico and come into construction for the first time. They're like, I'll do anything. I'll work 12-hour days. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, trust me, you don't
don't
want to work 12-hour days. Like that's the last thing you want to do. In 3 years, you're gonna be super depressed. You're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
But Dr. Evil, what would you say? What would you if you had to name off top
Le-
5?
Top 5. What?
I guess between
The-
us, right?
No, the same way. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
least cynical to most cynical. It's probably close to
It's
same
gonna
ranking.
be like the
same ranking. Yeah.
It's not like I see it different.
Now, do you have somebody you know that's more cynical?
Oh, that's a good one actually. You don't have to name them, obviously. You can just say the yes or no.
Let me think. Yeah,
Like, what do you say to this? Because I don't know the guy well enough to like
What
try and.
what was the end discussion there?
those are just like
He was very Do you know
existential.
what nihilism is?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's very nihilistic at one point, and I'm like, all right, man,
I like the guy.
I don't know you well enough to like talk you out of this, so we're just.
I don't think you
let
can
be.
talk people out of that.
No, I don't think. I think.
I've
No,
tried
but
so
sorry,
many times.
I didn't even. I'll rephrase. I didn't even know well enough to try and encourage, because I'll be encouraging when I hear that kind of stuff, or
Yeah.
at least try and like bring up other things in the conversation. But I'm like, you know what?
Do you know why
I
I,
don't really
think?
know you
I
that
think.
well, so-
Me personally, when someone's nihilistic, it doesn't affect me. I actually
That's
like
'cause you're
that.
also kind of like that too. So
I'm very nihilistic.
well, then
and,
of course, why would it affect
I
you?
think
What the fuck?
I think no. But this is the thing. Like people tend to think that being like cheerful and stuff. I think the only reason people try to be cheerful when you're nihilistic is because first of all they're not. People that are nihilistic aren't actually like uncomfortable being nihilistic. That's like what they enjoy.
Yeah,
that make
but-
sense?
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's not that I'm trying to run away from being nihilistic. It's like I realize life is certain aspects of life in my ideas are nihilistic, and I enjoy being nihilistic in certain aspects of life. Just like I enjoy sex in certain parts of life. I don't enjoy sex fucking 2 a.m. on a Wednesday because I gotta fucking wake up at 6 a.m.
That's a good point.
Right? So what I'm saying is like that. I don't think you should be cheerful because as a nihilistic person in certain contexts in my life, the best thing would be to find someone who has a different perspective. So why am I nihilistic? Am I nihilistic for X point? Okay, try to convince me off that X point without trying to be cheerful. Try to use logic. That's the best way because at a certain point in time, my mom did this. And a few times, like I could count 2 dramatic times where she brought up some points where it was like super logical. And at that point,
Made you think.
I had to just be like, this is a waste of fucking time, just like being too happy is.
Yeah.
Just like being too depressed is. Too anything is a waste of fucking
I
time.
was gonna say that. I'm glad you said it. But yeah, I think just to anything in general. So whenever I
Yeah.
hear that kind of like conversation kind of go down, it's fine if someone just brings it up or
Just book
whatever.
it.
No, but if all the conversation is, and we're talking for like an hour, is that I'm like, okay, man, like life isn't just that. That's kind of the how I feel. I don't really like staying in one thing all the time. It makes sense that throughout what you go through, different things are going to come up. You know, you might feel nihilistic about something, you might feel super passionate and optimistic about something else, or whatever. But you can't make everything, at least in my opinion, one thing. It's just too much of anything. It's like, fucking why?
Not only too much, but it's almost like a wall for these people. It's just like talking to an addict is.
That's the other issue. Is that
You
it's
try
hard
to talk them away. I remember
it's hard to have conversations about other stuff because
Yeah.
it always draws to the same. And you're like, bro, what the fuck? Like, come on.
I
That's,
remember
I think my biggest issue.
I dated this girl in high school, and she was from Burnaby North, and I met her through swimming, I think, and no, this wasn't. Anyway, I just met her from something else.
Okay.
And years later, like 22, I was like going back and forth from San Diego, and I came back and I was meeting up with my friends, and I saw her and she was asking for change, and she was an addict.
Jesus.
For like 45 minutes, because I had like at that point in time, I don't think I was as cold of a person.
Yeah.
I tried to like talk her out. I was like, listen, like, you know, if you need help, like, let me like help you out. Like tomorrow, like we'll get a social worker here. Like we'll try to help you.
Where
Like,
was
quit.
this? Was this here?
Columbia and Hastings.
Jesus.
When was this?
This was like when I was 22.
When you were the worst.
Yeah. But this is the thing. Like certain people I have a soft spot for at that age because now it's not the same. But back then I had like a soft spot for certain people. I would like,
you wouldn't care now.
no, because I'd be like, it's your own fault, bitch. You're 30. Like,
Mm.
it's. I mean, if I could have fallen into that. Why didn't I? I was around it all the time. Why didn't I? And like, you know what I mean? Like, you give yourself all these excuses to fail, or you can just give yourself real reasons why you failed, and then face it. If you can face it, great. If you can't, then you're on a block wall, and I'm not here to like waste my time listening to your garbage. Because you got to go against the grain, right? Everybody's going against the grain. You're going against the grain. You know what I mean? Like you have in the past year, I could say a few things. You're doing it. You know, everybody. That's how you improve. You go against the grain and you improve. If you're constantly in this wall where you're not going against the grain, you're like the same, and someone's trying to convince you of it. After a certain point, just like you said, right? You're gonna walk away, be like, "Yo, fuck this." Right? Whether that's being nihilistic, someone has an addiction, whatever it is, if they can't see what you're saying in a logical standpoint, you're wasting your fucking time. How many seconds, days, months, years do you have left? You're gonna spend that on some dummy?
Remember when you calculated that? You're like, it's X amount of, what did you say? Days. You said days.
Yeah.
Left. And I was like, damn.
How many,
That's
how many
cool.
days in a lifetime?
Well, not that, but what he actually brought up, he's like,
What do you have, like 2?
he made rough estimates for how many days
You have
left,
about 36,000 days
left with
at best. At best.
And then
that's
what-
if you live 100. That's if you live 100 years.
Mm.
But realistically, you only have like 22,000
Remaining.
days when you're 0 years old. At this point, my mom has something
That's
like
what's
5,800 days left. That's if she lives to be 80. And that's if she doesn't die from being fucking 200 pounds at 5'4". Right?
That's what he mentioned to me. He called, we were talking on the phone one day, and he just mentioned that out of nowhere almost. And he was like, yo, I roughly figured out that my mom's got X amount, like that, days left. And I was like, damn. Because when
It's
he
a
put
little memento mori for you.
yeah, but because all our parents are roughly the same age, and he used like I don't want to say like a super conservative estimate, but like a decent estimate. So when I thought of it, I'm like, damn, that's probably pretty close to my parents too. And then we just had a moment there where we were like, we probably could spend
So
more
we
time with our
probably
parents.
have like 18,000 days left or something.
I didn't even care about that. I was just looking.
16. I think I'm going to outlive all you guys, so it makes me kind of sad. But at the same time,
I mean, you'll definitely outlive this guy, but I don't think you'll outlive me.
I'll definitely outlive you.
Let's place the bet, and our kids can pay up.
Listen, my dad's stronger than your dad.
Forget about the dad. I want your grandfather. How old
His
do you live to?
grandfather lived to
Yeah.
be 100, basically.
Both sides, 94 and 98.
Really?
One side was my
I don't know if
dad's
I'll buy
dad, who died at 98, and he was actually a smoker, but he had 3 wives. I've talked about him before.
Mm.
And my dad, my mom's dad, he died at 94. He was just like a good guy, super religious. But my dad's dad was a bad guy, and he
Mm.
was like a open-minded kind of person back then. He was like
Mm.
a socialist,
Yeah,
and this is like in the
30s, 40s.
yeah.
You can be the last man standing.
We'll see.
It's okay, man. I'll
think
bury all you guys. It's
I
all
think
good.
I doubt you will. I don't think.
Still here,
I think
pussy.
when I die, it's gonna be like those.
At
That was
our
good.
grave, remember?
Still your pussy, just fucking cane and everything.
Yeah, I think when we bury some of our friends, it's gonna be kind of sad because we'll be still pretty coherent and stuff. But I think when you bury me, it's gonna be like in Goodfellas, where like you're in the chair because like you only got like a couple years left.
No,
It's
no,
like,
no. Listen, this is. I've told myself this. Like when the last person that I know, that was like my peer or my elder that died. I think that's any time past that is just bonus time.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So we've talked about this, and you guys thought I was joking around, but like past that point is like when I will call, get a nice couple 8 balls, a little heroin, coke, escorts, just spend all the money, man. Like, because I guarantee you, my wife's gonna die before. Even if I marry a 22-year-old, I just know I'm gonna outlive this bitch.
Okay, wait. Oh, 22-year-old now.
If I marry a
married to
22-year-old now, I'm gonna outlive this bitch for sure.
I don't know, man. I
Dude,
feel
not,
people are
not,
soft, bro.
Not if you marry a Korean.
Even if I marry a Korean,
Nah, no
bro,
way, no way.
Koreans, this is why they age well. They age well till about 55,
Sure.
and
So
then
what? You gonna
boom,
kill her or something?
Ninja Turtle, everybody turns into Ninja Turtle.
Who's the most impulsive between these same 5 people that we just ranked
Me.
earlier?
Yeah, this guy's number
Me?
one. Then
Yeah.
you're probably number 2.
No, you're not number 2.
This guy?
Sonny's number 2. Impulsive?
Okay, name stuff that he does that's impulsive.
I can't on cam. I would have to cut this off.
You can cut it off then.
He plays poker. What the fuck are you
It's
talking
not that
about?
impulsive, man.
That's extremely
No, it's
impulsive,
not.
bro.
No, you haven't seen him at the casino. You think that he's some like fucking high rolling gambler? That's
I don't
like,
think he's a high rolling gambler.
that's like betting on like blackjack or even like
Listen,
roulette. This
just
guy,
the aspect that he has a bachelor's degree in comp sci, but he's choosing to do poker is
that's
impulsive.
because he's actually pretty good at poker.
fair enough. But
So
that's not
I-
playing it safe though.
Okay,
That's
we'll
still
just
playing
agree
it.
to disagree.
Sure.
I in my ranking, he's not there, but fair enough. If he's
I
number
would
2
say
for you.
Sonny, and then it's probably you. You and Sonny could flip. Like this argument is pointless.
Mm.
You and Sonny could flip,
That's a good one. I think yeah, that's
and
fair.
then I would say Emil and you can flip.
No, I wouldn't say so. I think it's clear cut. Emel's the last one.
He's
It's
less
It's
impulsive.
not even close. Like it's not even close. Like I think it's
Maybe.
actually a pretty clear drop.
Hmm.
And he would probably admit this on cam.
He would.
Mm-hmm.
I think being not impulsive is the best thing you can do as a man. It's fucking stupid to be impulsive.
No, I was gonna say because you're like very confident about certain things much later in life and how you'll feel about them, and I think it's tough to feel that way. It's tough to be confident about these things, what you're gonna value.
Yeah.
This idea of like doing drugs and whores and whatever else at the twilight years of your life.
Oh,
Maybe, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
unlikely.
Maybe
I think
not.
at that time he
2-piece in a soda.
probably could care less about it. If I had to bet on it, that's what I would put my money on.
Fuck, man. I wish you were alive so you see me do that last little bit of heroin. Just
I mean, here's the thing. It's not like you do that now anyway.
no, but
If this
that
came from, I don't know anyone that does a lot of drugs.
Oh, I know
but,
what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
But if
I
they said
get what
that,
he's trying to
I
say.
could buy that.
Yeah, yeah.
hold on. I do in comparison to you guys. I do a lot of drugs.
Oh, great. You fucking
I
you
don't
snort
know.
up coke? No. First of all, you
I
haven't.
do a little bit of acid.
Second of
a little
all,
bit
what you're like
shrooms.
shooting up
None of
heroin?
those are particularly addictive. Yeah,
No, they're not
Yeah,
addictive.
you're just gonna start shooting up
I'm
heroin.
not doing like narcotics and like
This-
Schedule A
this-
drugs,
This
guys.
guy's
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
fuck. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
that?
but what I'm saying is like
Probably what you're doing now, you're going to be doing to some extent later
That
on.
makes
So if
sense.
you're a workaholic, probably going to be a workaholic. If you're a
People-
family man, you're probably going to be.
I think we talked.
I
about
like how
this
he
too.
points at
Heavily
you and
based
says
on
family
that.
man,
Of,
even though
of
you
the
have.
three, of the three, yeah, probably.
I would
I
say
mean, I don't know
Emil
what
is going to
Armand,
be
but
Yeah, but he's not here.
as
Emel's
far as
definitely a family man.
Was he
Look how much
pointing-
time he
yeah.
spends with his
timeline.
family.
I'm saying as far as time, the first person I think that's going to get married is probably Emil. And it's
But-
probably going to be this
But
girl.
what's funny is that we did not think that 3 years ago.
I definitely thought that he was gonna. Okay, if I had to bet on me and Dr.
I think
Evil
we might
and
have.
Emil,
We've had this conversation probably on camera.
I have
think.
no. We haven't had a conversation about.
I think so. Like getting married, who's getting married first, and all that stuff. I think we have. This is not the first time we've had this
Anyway,
conversation.
my point is like,
Regardless of who's first, they're going to be more family oriented. I think,
For
just
sure.
based on their history.
but you just don't have the like. Some guys don't play basketball because they're not 6'9".
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Dr. Evil, like I am not doing it because I just don't think the odds are good. Dr. Evil, why are you not trying to do it?
I don't think that's a good analogy at all. Because you made it sound like you don't have relationships because you can't have them.
No.
Yeah, the 6'9" thing was kind of weird.
What's 6'9"?
You're like, you're not playing basketball because you're not 6'9". So how does that translate to?
Okay. I'm not saying that you don't do it. It's that you play with your strengths is what I'm trying to get at. You might be able to. Anybody can. It's not as cut and dry as like
Yeah.
being 6'9" and being part of the league. It's not as cut and dry as that for sure. But you kind of play with your strengths and you see from what you learn, right? In your mind, Hector, as much as you get heartbreaks, end of the day, you're gonna be like, I want to get married in Canada.
Yeah, sure.
Blah 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 to whatever girl from the
Yeah,
church.
but there's other signs too. Just like look at how much time people spend with family.
Oh
There's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
a tight
There's that.
correlation between that and how much importance they put on getting married to begin with.
So you think that would describe you?
Well, look how much time Emil spends with his family.
No, yes, yeah, I understand.
and
Me too.
And you.
It's a
It's-
lot.
yeah.
actually.
Also, you're an only child, which makes it
Yeah, it's a
Easier.
quite different
more
for me.
pressure.
It's not. I wouldn't describe it as
Dude,
pressure.
I see my parents like.
I wouldn't say it's pressure.
It's not
I would
pressure.
say
Not very much.
Yeah.
if, I would say the fact that Emil has a brother makes it pressure versus him. It's like that's it. If they're not going to spend time with Hector, who are they going to spend time with?
Yeah.
Or if Hector's not going to spend time with the only two people that are primarily related to him, who's he going to spend time with? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Whereas Emil, he can spend time with his brother. You know what I mean? It's more pressure for him to show up and do these things because he also has a brother that shows up and does these things.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of the day I got really sad when. What the fuck happened?
Sure, I gotta
My,
kick it real soon.
yeah. My dad.
Another 15 guys.
Like probably 5 for this guy.
Yeah, no, I
Dad,
gotta give me my
yeah,
dad.
let's say 5.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
My
Do that more.
dad went out to see some like work friend from
Mm.
before,
Yeah.
and then I didn't know about because I said I was gonna go visit. There was something I was gonna do.
Right.
I didn't realize the timing, but there was like an overlap where my mom was just home by herself for like 3 hours.
Mm.
And I remember when I finally got in and it was just me and her, my dad was still out. And I was like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, it's like gardening and stuff." I'm like, "Oh, but like what? I thought you just got." She's like, "No, I've been here for like since like 5." And I'm like, "Mom, what the fuck? Why didn't you like tell me earlier that you're going to be home?" She's like, "Oh, yeah, I got kind of sad, but that's okay." I'm like, "Fuck, man." It's like no one was at home.
Mm.
Dad was gone. The kid who was there before, because there was like one of my dad's friends' kids was doing like an exchange or something.
Mm.
He wasn't home, and so my mom was just like came home to like an empty house. And I'm like, "Mom, you should have just fucking said something earlier. I just would have showed up earlier." It's like it's not a big deal. Like whatever. It's like, "Oh no, it's fine. When I get sad, I just garden."
Now, is your
Like,
mom?
Fuck.
I got a couple questions.
Sure.
Because I have the same feelings, but sometimes my mom
This guy
reassures
sounds
me.
like Rick Ross.
Yeah, he does. He got like somebody stuck.
Yeah.
It's cool. Sure,
it's,
go ahead.
It's sick. Is your mom very feminine? Would you describe her as very feminine?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. I had the same feeling towards my mom
Mhm.
because she you know, she initially bought a house. And
Yeah,
she had
yeah.
this empty house, and my sister travels a lot, and I've moved out.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom is like, every time I talk to her about this, she's like, dude, I fucking like it. I don't
Oh,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
kids. You guys are fucking annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, my mom,
that's weird.
part-
I can't relate to that.
You know,
Mhm.
my dad was a savage, but my mom's also a very, like,
Yeah,
very masculine woman.
Yeah.
You know, very like independent in her own ways, and she's not like looking for attention. So anytime I think of stuff like this, it kind of helps having a mom like that, because I don't feel bad in situations like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I told my mom, like, you know, when I was living with her, I was like, yeah, the conversation came up. I was like, yeah, I live with you because we have a lot of arguments.
Mm.
Because we tend to be very argumentative. Like, I'm very argumentative because I consider myself like a man, and I have to be anyway. She was like, dude, you're doing this, you think that you're doing this for me, but you're doing this for yourself.
For yourself. Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not here because you think I'm gonna pass out tomorrow.
Mhm.
You're just here because, you know, you feel better about yourself on a daily basis,
Yeah, yeah.
outside of being around me,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
about the situation. And she was like, this is a fucking phobia, bro. You're
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pussy. She's like, you got a fucking phobia, dude. She's like, what's the difference between you and your sister she's scared of spiders and insects and rats,
Yeah.
and you're scared of me fucking dying?
Mhm,
What's the
mhm.
difference? It's both phobias.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
It's a weakness.
Yeah.
And that's what it really comes down to. And I'm not saying it's bad. Like, in that case, I
Mm.
would say it's actually good that
Mhm.
you're constantly like reassuring your mom, and you're around
Yeah,
around
yeah.
for her. But I think in my way, it helps me out, because sometimes I get really busy. I don't
Yeah,
even
of
get
course,
to like
of
call her
course,
like
yeah,
for
yeah.
you know, I haven't seen my mom in like 8 days, even though she lives like 10 blocks away.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But I feel good about it, because I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like, she probably wants to be alone, man. Like, I'm
Mhm.
annoying.
Mm.
I guarantee you, if I had a kid just like me around me all the time, it'd be fucking annoying. Like, I'd be glad once they get financially independent and move out.
You
Yeah.
feel like the kind of guy who'd be like annoyed with yourself after some time.
Well, I mean, I've already seen this come to light, right? Because there's only
Why? In the mirror every day, you're like, fuck this guy,
no. The thing is like,
That's
this is
how I
my,
feel. Man.
man. Gets up in the morning. This fucking guy again? Fuck.
I thought I told you to grow.
Wake up in the morning.
Why are
it's
you
like,
still 5'8"?
"Oh, this shit again."
God damn it! I wish I just woke up 6'4". Dr. Evil, last point. What would you do if
You're
how-
6'4".
What would you do? Okay, what would you give up in this life to be 6'4" for the rest of your
It
life?
can be
Knowing
tiny.
you.
It can be tiny. It can be like, I don't know. Make it as small as you want. Or it could be as big as you want.
To be 6'4",
Yeah.
Christ, fucking high school all over again. I don't know, man. I don't think about what am I gonna give up to be 6'4". I'm not 6'4", and I don't think I will be.
Just give up those shoes, maybe.
Okay, because 6'4" it might be something vain. Like, to you now,
true,
it might
true,
be
true.
vain.
Yeah, yeah.
This is actually crucial to anything you want to implement in your
Just
future.
disclosing my fucking medical.
Well, we can
history.
cut it out.
Yeah, we'll cut it. We'll cut it.
I don't know, man. What it is? You gotta give me like pre-made answers here. I would,
What is this?
Jeopardy?
No, not that. It's like choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
What is it, like Goosebumps? It's like,
Build a life?
go to
I don't know, I
page
just
5.
Don't think about these kinds of questions because it's like
That's what we're
the-
here for, man. We ask these questions. Welcome to Funny But Foul.
Okay.
Introspective edition.
Yeah, sure. And to be fair, if you don't like it, we'll just cut the whole thing out. We'll just redo this, make it easier.
I'd give up my guitars. How do you like that?
Sure, that's
All right.
all it takes.
Hector, what would you give up for, let's say, your biggest imperfection in your mind?
Oh, my hairline,
Is that it?
bruh.
Is that it for you?
It's either that or the gyno. It's one of the two.
Okay, both of them. Let's put them
Oh
together.
damn! At the same time.
Yeah, same time.
That's a,
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you would never have it, so you'd have to go back to when it started. Like, 15.
This is the kind of shit when
Yeah.
we're older we're gonna look back and like this meaning. It's too vain. 6'4", hairline, gyno.
No, but yours wasn't.
Yeah,
6'4".
yours
How about,
was-
here's a good one.
yours is-
Memory. I don't like that my memory isn't very good, and 20 years from now, if I'm still alive, it's probably gonna be even worse. That would be something that I'd like to be sharpened.
all right,
Now,
so then
what are
go
you
ahead.
doing for that?
Yeah.
How are you
Uh,
improving that?
I don't know if I can improve it, man. That stuff is not well understood at all.
I'd actually like disagree on your point earlier. Like, oh, it's so vain. It's like, yeah, man, but like, for me-
Everything's
okay,
vain.
No, not only that, but okay, maybe for
But
you.
if
that's-
there's anything you
le-
can pick,
let
like,
me, yeah, no, but let me finish because he was the one who asked the question. He was the one who's like hairline and it's like imperfection or whatever. Maybe to you, like being the height, like that's not an issue for you. And if it isn't, rather, honestly, good for you. Like I'm actually really happy if that isn't for you. But personally, for me, those two things at times have been actual issues for me where
yeah, fair enough.
like
It's just-
and that's what I mean. Like
It's more serious.
yeah, it's not like just like, oh, it'd be nice to be like, you know, have a bigger cock or these stupid things. It's like, no, man,
I mean,
like
that's emotionally.
no, sure, no, but like I'm actually pretty happy with my cock. But when I was a kid, like I was embarrassed to like take off my shirt at the pool. It's like stuff like that where you know certain kids are embarrassed about certain things, and then you know the first few times where someone points out like your hair line or issues or whatever, especially when you're younger, where you don't have the confidence to kind of like fight back against that stuff. That can be not traumatizing because I haven't had that bad of an issue as compared to other people with similar stuff. But yeah, like the first time you get fucking clowned on for, oh, this guy hair. Well, yeah, that's like I wish I didn't have to feel that way again. Come to like now where it's like, if someone mentions like, if I take out my hat right now, you guys are I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't really give that much of a shit what you guys think about it, which is growth now. But if
Yeah.
I could just not feel, if I could have that growth without feeling that way earlier, that's why I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that might be
for me,
impossible.
for me, those things are, that's why I'm like, it'd be nice to not go through that.
Okay.
There's obviously other more introspective ones we could think of, like, all right, if you memory better, fucking, I don't know, it's overall health, yeah, sure. For those are like,
But you
legit
could
ones.
say that
More patient.
Dr.
Yeah.
Evil's or patience or memory or whatever, it's almost the same. It's just a different what is important to you, right? So it doesn't necessarily make it better or worse. It's like what affected you more, right? For me, honestly, the time that I spent on stupid shit, just to go back to when I was like 18,
Oh, was two people. Was two people.
yeah,
So
that's the length
That's
I would
five.
go to because
That's
I
five,
fucking
yeah.
want it. But
the interesting part about
you know, if you want to be a winner,
shut the hell up, stupid. The interesting part about that question, regardless of how vain the initial question is, your answer actually speaks to how important that stuff is to you. So if you just say like, oh, you know, like pay like $1,000, you don't really give that much of a shit
Yeah.
about it. But if you're like, bro, I would like give this up, like I'd give 5 years of my life. Okay, well, that's a big deal for you.
Yeah.
So it's like you could just 2 guitars, whatever.
No,
Yeah.
that's a bullshit answer. 2 guitars.
That means that means like we said that or like I said rather, that just means that it's the question of what is not that important to you. It's like
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
not that big of a
'cause
deal.
I just,
So that's probably fair. That's probably a good answer.
it's not practical, I guess. That's why.
So it's probably a good answer.
if the devil came up to Dr. Evil and asked him what he would want, he'd probably tell him what he wants, and then he'd be like, but you know what? I'm good either way.
It's fine. It's all good.
It's all good. You know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. With
Yeah, I
that,
wish I was that.
I
It's
think
just
you are
solid,
that though.
secure.
I think we are all going towards that because certain aspects of my life. I'll finish off with this.
Yeah.
I would never imagine it would get to this point. In certain ways, things that happened or
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that that didn't happen, but for some odd reason, with time, everything has been accepted in my mind,
Right.
like at ease, which is insane because whenever you see like these murders or Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
how can these 2 guys kill 10 people?
Mm-hmm.
And you realize that if you can get used to yourself, they could just get used to that.
True.
It's just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And that's a scary notion because you realize that
That's how people normalize this kind of shit very easily for themselves.
not that that's sure, but that's not my point. My point is like if the scale on normalization can be like the death of us.
Mhm.
If we normalize nuclear weapons, if we
Yeah.
normalize famine, which I mean in certain aspects
People
we
do-
have,
yeah.
you realize that even if you're in a first world country and a third world country, it doesn't matter. Like it is actually not safe.
I gotta go.
Yeah, you're probably good.
My dad's
All right, guys.
waiting.
You're pretty close though.
Been a good one.
Funny but foul. We out.
We out.